Is everything working? Are you guys there? Let me know if you can see. It's been like a while. I don't know what. Looks like it's working. Is everybody on? Wow, what a way to start after all this time. How's everybody doing? Thank you guys for coming back. And after all this time, like I might have given up hope. It's been over a month. Man, I have a bunch of stuff I want to say, talk about. I don't know what you guys want to talk about. Sorry, I have my ring light on back here. I just was rushing to get started, and some things were confusing. So, but hello everybody. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining me. There's so many things that I wanted to talk about. It's been such a while. I think the first thing is, even though well past due, and it's somewhat old news, but I wanted to discuss a certain perspective about the Charlie Kirk thing. Man, it changed the world. No matter which side of the fence you're on, this thing is redefined a lot of what's happening right now. Hello, Jen, Dave, Jeanette, Sarah, Carolyn, Jessica Brady, Rob, Teresa, nice Roxanne. You know, there's certain perspective that I want to give about the Charlie Kirk thing. Is it's funny. I called it the Charlie Kirk thing to somebody, and or to two people, and I got yelled at and screen. I keep looking up. I don't mean to look up. I'm sorry. I've got my big screen here. I've told you guys before. I have the camera right here, which I should be looking at, and then the YouTube screen. I called it the Charlie Kirk thing, and there was a woman that was there when I was born, one of my sister's best friends, and she really was offended that I called it a thing. Delaware, that's awesome. You guys live in Delaware. Because it was much bigger than a thing, and I'm sorry that, but it was a thing. It is a thing. It's a thing, you know. The crucifixion's a thing. The extinction of dinosaurs is a thing. Both huge things, but they're things. And but this really rattled some bells, and a lot of friendships have ended. A lot of people lost their jobs. It's change in the entire world because of this. But from someone that, well, while in no means in the world do I claim to be famous in any way, I am in the public eye. I'm seen in the public eye, and I run my mouth a lot. Our drummer Mary runs her mouth a lot. We see things on different ways, and we're very, very aggressive in our views and very firm in how we believe. And it's 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 eye opening. Whatever side you're on right now, people are being shot for speaking, for talking. That's frightening to someone that has a voice. Everybody has a voice, but I am oftentimes behind the scenes encourage. Hold on one second. Let me just. It's making me crazy. Sorry. I am oftentimes behind the scenes encouraged by people that I trust and believe in to speak because they often say that I have a way with words, and that the people that believe in my messages think it's important for me to be outspoken to try to rally troops. Um, and that gets me excited because, as you guys all know, way more than just music, I want to change the world. I want to make a difference. It's not an ego thing. I don't want to be Bob Marley or Martin Luther King for the sake of my face being next to theirs in the history books. Something inside you that's powerful. If you feel that you want to change things, um, it's funny. I don't even want to speak about this. Right? This is how scary this is from my perspective now. Right? Uh, you know, one of John Lennon's biggest fans is who shot John Lennon. Dimebag from Pantera's one of his biggest fans is who shot him. Um, both for simply being accused of breaking up these people's favorite bands. Favorite bands. Most of the time, if you have a favorite band, it's because they've already made music you know. Maybe they may not make any new music. Bands break up anyway. But at least you have that forever. And this guy, hey Joanne, and this guy, these guys shot people they loved. um, and and I think about what if I was talking to my friend Benny. Freedom of speech, it's everything. It's why I write music. It's why I write books. It's why I speak to you guys. It's the greatest gift in the world, freedom of speech. I don't have that right now. I do have freedom of speech, but I have fear of speech right now. Um, I've upset a lot of people. You know, in the last couple of weeks, every member of the Bret Michaels band have been reported. Other than Rob, no one has reported Rob or Norman, but me, even Dean, uh, and me, Dean, and Mary have been targeted, and emails have been written to me. They don't realize that I'm the one that gets the emails. Me and Jana, that we've been targeted, basically been told that they aren't going to come to see the Bret Michaels band ever again because we're in the band. All of us with completely different opinions. That's the different things. There's three sides to every story. Mary sits on one side of the fence, Dean sits on the other side of the fence, and I sit on an island with my thoughts, but my thoughts still provoke people enough to encourage and irritate them. And it's very eye opening to me right now to think about what has happened. Um, I'm disgusted by anybody that would celebrate another man's death. I'm also completely disgusted that they gave the guy a military funeral. Um, so again, both like I usually weigh in on both sides. I'm irritated. I'm irritated at the few that uh, that are extremist. I think I made a point the other day that the right and the left now is judged by extremists that probably aren't even right or left. I have a lot of people I think that uh, are gun crazy and like guns, and maybe they've never done all the research of what it means to be on the right, but they just identify with one of the big things that they think is right, so they think they're right. They become labeled right. The same with the left. Um, you know, there's a lot of people that really probably don't even know what the politics of being left are, but support LGBTQ, so they're left. uh, and those extremists are what we're all, whatever side we're on, are identified by now. And half the time, I don't think that politically anyone, you know, To be on the right is to actually want a smaller government, you know. Yeah, and capitalism is a funny thing, right? Uh, if you're rich, you're a capitalist, but you also worked your ass off probably to get rich. And once you've done that amount of work to have anything, you look at people that haven't put that effort in. Why should they have that? And then you become a capitalist pig, right? But when you're standing on that side of the fence and you've done all that work, I'm far from rich. My story is ironic. Every day I I fear. My debt is enormous. I make a lot of money, but I've been in a lot of weird situations, and I'm probably in more financial trouble and poorer than anyone watching this. Stressed out all the time. It's why I started the merch store, trying to help pay off some of the debt I have. What's up, Song? It's always good to see you. Um, but I understand capitalism. As hard as I've worked and for everything that I've worked for, and I do have nice things. I have a very nice guitar collection. I have a nice vehicle. Um, you know, my version of poor is different than other people's version of poor. I don't fly around in a private plane like Brett by any means, but I also have a nice vehicle and a few nice things. It's all perspective. You aren't poor if you live in Washington, D.C. because it's so expensive, but because I have to live in Washington, D.C., I am perpetually broke. Tomorrow's the first of the month, and I don't I don't have close to my rent money yet. But I still believe in the basics of capitalism. I think, and that's awful to say. Probably people might hate that. But if you haven't been fortunate enough to do the things that I've done, make some money, whether I make it and lose it all the time. Uh, there's a level of why shouldn't everybody be treated equal? Um, that that I think what I'm trying to say is the lines of what socialism and capitalism are completely blurred. And if you're a Democrat, doesn't mean you're a socialist. If you're a Republican, it doesn't mean you're a capitalist. You can be a capitalist on the left. You can be. It's just so strange right now. But my point to all of this is um, since the Charlie Kirk shooting, I am genuinely, genuinely, genuinely afraid to say some of the things that I normally would have said all the time. Uh, and it's not from me, to be completely honest with you. Um, I think I've said this to a lot of you guys before. I, at 53 years old, I raised two children that are just wonderful, wonderful children. I've seen the world. I've done things I never dreamed of doing. And I did every single thing I've ever dreamed of. I'd never dreamed of being rich, and I never cared of being rich. And careful what you ask for, because I got to play in front of hundreds of thousands of people. I get to play in a band with one of my childhood heroes. I get to travel the world. I have these wonderful people that pay attention to me. What do you mean a ring, Roxanne? I don't. So I don't particularly care if someone was to shoot me. Um, it's not my life I'm afraid of, but I think about the things I say and how I irritate people when I strike those nerves. What if someone did come to our show and try to take me out and missed. Hit Rob, hit Brett, hit JT, hit one of you guys, the fans. I thought about that a lot today. The crossfire. Um, and so now I'm silenced. Something I've never been in my life, I'm silenced. Um, it feels awful to me. Oh, I'm not wearing a ring. It's some foam thing that I don't even know what the fuck it is, to be honest with you, Roxanne. It goes to some piece of equipment I have in my studio. Uh, might be part of the electronic drum set, and maybe Boba found it and it showed up. I don't know. But so anyway, for since the Charlie Kirk assassination, I've had so much I wanted to say on Facebook, and I'm afraid. I don't know if I'm afraid, uh, but I feel like I've been shackled to do the right thing. Um, you can get fired for speaking your mind. Brett has a very firm policy about what to say, and I've, for many years, I've I've carefully navigated around the rules, as you guys know. Still able to poke the bear, still able to provoke thought. I always want to provoke thought. More than anything, I want to provoke thought. You guys know that. But a year ago, oh, thank you very much. Alpha, you know it, buddy. You know it. Um, a year ago, I was saying the things that I still mean today, and it's hard for me to say them right now. But I've told all of you guys. I don't know that anyone but you guys will ever watch this, but I'm sitting here nervous to talk about this. I encouraged and spoke outright about anarchism, me being an anarchist, and me wanting the Civil War to start. Um, the unfortunate truth is, I believe that that's the only way out of this. Um, right now, nobody in our country is happy. There is nobody in our country that's happy. And to resolve this is a thing that I think that no one really recognizes, and maybe this will be powerful. There's no way out of this without 50% of the country being unhappy. Um, the right wants what the right wants, the left wants what the left wants. And it is so divided, and so there's no compromise to anything right now, that in our United States, the only end game is for 50% of the country to not like where we go. So, how do you fix that? Half of the country, in any way, shape, or form, is angry and miserable. And at what point do you create the third party? Is there the anarchist party? Um, what does anarchy mean? Because when I talk about it and I check all the buttons out, I've said this a million times. Every button I check is of every when I do all the tests and all the surveys and all the things, it comes up unanimously all the time that I'm an anarchist. And what does that mean? And what happens to an anarchist when they finally get their way? Are they still an anarchist? If the Civil War breaks out and then it's over and whatever side wins, um, do I go back and want to start the chaos all over again because that's what an anarchist does? It's a confusing thing, but I can't shake, after the Charlie Kirk shooting, what what is the path out of this now? How do you turn this around? You get shot now for speaking your mind. Um, that's how it is now. um, yeah, that's right. Like if you're exactly right, Dave. When I speak about an anarchist, I think about Heath Ledger all the time, or the Joker character in the Dark Knight series. That's exactly what he is—an agent of chaos. Uh, but to his end, he thinks that that is the solution. So what is the solution? My world is forever changed, personally. That as of the day that Charlie Kirk got shot, my I've been censored out of fear. People are allowing words to make them feel hurt. We shouldn't need a civil war to make us get back to growing up and acting like adults instead of crybabies. I understand that, Joanne. So I'm asking you, how do you fix that? The divided states of America. It's very true, Jeanette. Um, it saddens me. It breaks my heart. It's a tremendous weight on me. And you know, uh, it's just it's insane because I'm just a guitar player in a rock star's band, and it has affected me so much. I never dreamed I would be in a world where I would think about what I was going to say. I'm talking to my friends right now. Now it's on a platform that everybody in the world can see, uh, but I'm talking to my friends, and I'm talking slow and being careful, and that's different. Um, it makes it almost not worth it when you're somebody that wants to make change, you know. So then I take all that. By the way, here we go again. 9 likes, 24 people watching. I'd give anything to have the equal likes to the equal concurrent viewers. Please hit the like button. Subscribe if you can. Subscribe if you can. Uh, it's a tremendous, difficult fix. Don't let it weigh on your shoulders. It does weigh on my shoulders though, because I want it solved and I want to help if I can. So how do I segue? First of all, everybody that has said thank you for the 9 year anniversary of Shining Soul, um, or congratulations. I thank you so much for saying that. I think every one of you, almost everyone on here has bought a candle. I don't know if Song's ever bought a candle. I think maybe he has, but I appreciate that. You know, uh, we're always being honest here. That's part of what this thing's been about. Um, and today has been a sad day, to be honest with you guys. Today's a sad day for me. It's been 9 years uh, since we opened those doors. And to be honest with you, for the last 3 years, I have not paid myself a dime. Uh, the trouble and the hole we fell into uh, was tremendous. And, um, you know, I have multiple employees, two of them being my son. Uh, two of them being my sons. Uh, all the effort, you know, normally what happens is I get home on Sundays and I chill for a couple hours from the shows, and then I get up in the evening and I go down to the store after it's closed and I assess everything I need to do for the week because I usually have Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And then I get up at 8:30 in the morning, usually earlier than that, but my alarm's at 8:30 just in case, no later than 8:30. And I go down to the store and for 3 days I do nothing but Shining Soul, uh, whatever the work is, make the candles. Most of it's making the candles, running the business. Uh, and for 3 years, I haven't paid myself a dime because all that matters to me is paying the employees that have stuck with me through the hard times. um, and that gets frustrating sometimes because that's 3 days every week that I'm putting in almost 40 hours in 3 weeks uh, for the effort of other people. Um, there's nothing to pay, Carolyn. That's what I'm trying to say. So I've been there 9 years. I've survived, and I've made this enormous effort. Uh, and I had an incredible amount of congratulations this morning from people all over the country. You guys, all over the world. But a lot of people close to me acted like it didn't even happen. Um, a lot of people that were there 9 years ago, I was going back through the pictures of the first day we were open, saw these faces, and I remember that day. I remember thinking those people were going to be there. These are my people. I'm going to know these people for the rest of my life. And almost every single person in those pictures that first day are gone. They life moves on. Life moves on. You know. Uh, I started the company with Sarah, and then I brought Darren in, and then Darren and Sarah never ever got along. And then during COVID, Sarah had to leave because her child's immune deficiencies was frightening. And all that mattered to all of us was that she kept that kid alive. But a lot of other things changed during that time, and she didn't like the way the business was going. And her and Darren, man, they didn't get along. And then, broke my heart. And when Sarah left, the business never felt the same. It's never, ever felt the same. And then, over the last couple of years, Darren slowly removed himself, which was a good thing. Me and Darren are better friends again today than we were in a long time. We laugh and joke and we sit with each other now. For a couple of years, it got really really tense. We both just had completely different visions, but we respected each other enough to never fight about it. But we also were afraid to talk to each other about it, and the business suffered from that. And me and Darren were talking about it the other day. Losing a customer takes twice as long to build trust back. And sometimes I couldn't keep the store stocked. A lot of changes happened, and a lot of people I think lost faith, and it sucks because the product's better than ever, and my passion for it is bigger than ever. Sometimes, but today was hard because it wasn't nearly as celebratory. That's not the word, I don't think. But there was a lot of people I hoped I would have heard from today that I didn't hear from, and so there was a solemnness to today. Brett says something a lot that carries with me. That he'll say it's lonely at the top, or it's lonely being a leader, and it's been that way my whole life. It's been that way I'll fight and fight, and then people give up the fight. When people give up the fight, you feel like they turn your back on you, and you take it personally. And there's been several occasions, where I feel betrayed or left out. I have an enormous amount of debt in Shining Soul that me and Darren created together. But I let him off the hook on that. Not let him off the hook. We agreed that I would take that debt, and that he's able to go free and do his thing. I think sometimes when I let that happen, I've done that a lot of times in my life. I've partnered with people, and then when it gets to the point where it doesn't seem worth it to them anymore, I say, go ahead, and I'll keep rowing this boat. And I think every once in a while, I just hope someone's going to go, no, I'll stay. And they never do. They never do. They go running. Um, and I'm hard to deal with. Like Brett's hard to deal with. Like Gene Simmons is hard to deal with. When you have that freight train mentality and you have that succeed at all costs mentality, sometimes it seems different than what it really is. It seems different, and it always ends up hurting people. I've had most people turn their backs on me. I hear you, Michael. I hear you, brother. Um, I don't know that people turn their back on me. I don't think anyone turns their, like I said, me and Darren are better friends than we've been in years right now. It's not about turning their back. I think there's a lot of people that get in my car and don't like how fast I drive, and they get the fuck out. um, but today was a strangely lonely day, the anniversary of the store. But 9 years, man, that's a haul, right? That's a haul. And I'm grateful for all you guys that have said uh, congratulations, because it's the roller coaster has been tremendously harder than I've ever let anybody know, and today was just as hard. So um, that isn't where I wanted to go with any of this. Uh, that's not inspiring. That's not who I'm supposed to be on this channel. Um, what was I trying to segue to? The Charlie Kirk assassination and the government and the freedom of speech being gone. Um, you know, um, we played in Long Island on last Friday. Um, well, Darren's watching. Darren, you heard what I just said. I said not turning your back. I was very clear that I hope you heard that. You know what I mean? I was very clear that 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 was not, and I'm talking about my entire life. I'm talking about my entire life. I'm not talking about one particular situation. But I will tell you, since you're watching, that I almost texted your wife today, because your wife is one of the only people in what I consider a real circle, that in my super small circle, that congratulated the 9 years. And that moment that Kat told me, congratulations, almost made all the sadness go away. It actually, her comment was the highlight of my day. Um, it's funny, Darren. I was trying to talk to you about some of this other stuff yesterday, and this freedom of speech thing. I go over to talk to Darren at his shop, and then sometimes if someone's there, I'll leave, and I think I'm going to come back, and I don't come back. What was my point? Oh, so I'm just swinging this conversation now. I'm not looking at my notes or anything like that. Um, I was in Long Island, and I happened to be speaking to a friend of mine who is one of Donald Trump's best friends. I think all of you guys know that I know that family, regardless of what side I am. I know that family very well. You do have to check out Darren Shop. The interesting thing I'll say about Darren Shop, the one thing I make no jokes about is I Never thought the name of Darren Shop was any good. The logo was great, but the best thing about Darren Shop is even I go there every couple days. I go in there, and you can spend 45 minutes just seeing stuff. It's it's um it's an interesting place to let the rest of your day slip away and just look at stuff and hopefully spend some money. Um, I was um, I was talking to one of Donald Trump's best friends, who I've known a long time, and I asked two questions. I said, "What is the fucking deal with the social media posts?" I said, "Does anyone tell him to fucking stop that?" And this guy's like, "Yeah, we all tell him to stop. Every one of us tells him to stop." Uh, and I said, that Apocalypse Now post was insane. And I can't understand what was presidential about that. And and Donald's friend said he just has a sense of humor and he thinks it's okay to be funny. I said, well, that stuff's not funny. And I said, but what can you tell me? And I don't know, that this is weird that I'm having a conversation with a bunch of friends about the president of the United States with information I think is legit from the hand of the president of the United States. But his friend told me that the stress and the disappointment with Putin is incredible, and that the one thing that Donald Trump wants over anything is people to stop killing people. The killing people thing, he can have hate, he can have rage, he can want to fight people, he can want to punch people. And he doesn't like the killing. And I believe that. My interactions I've had with that guy, I've spent time with him. I've sat with him. I've spoke with him. I was on the set of The Apprentice with him for months. I've played at his golf courses when he was there. Um, he feels betrayed by Putin. And it's funny, this isn't like watching the news. This is listening to two friends talk. He feels betrayed by Putin and he doesn't know what to do to stop the war. And it's all he thinks about it. And behind the scenes, it's from what I understand, he's consumed. And that's sad. That's sad, the betrayal he feels. Uh, you know, I think about it. Like, what do you do? What do you do if you're the fucking president of the United States and you think you're the most powerful person in the world, but you can't do the one thing you'd like to do, and that's stop a war? How do you fucking how does I'd go crazy. I mean, now that I know Darren's watching, Darren can vouch, man. Like, none of you guys know what it's like to be inside my head, man. And the people that are close enough to me to deal with my chaos when I don't get my way. It's not about not getting my way. It's about when I truly believe something should be a certain way and I think it's worth fighting for and I can't make it happen, I become destructive. I ruin friendships. I ruin business. I put dents in everything that's good in my life. Um, and I'm not the president. And, and Donald Trump's ego is way bigger than mine will ever be. way bigger than mine will ever be. So, is making stupid memes like the Apocalypse Now meme is how he deals with it? I don't know, but it was an interesting conversation to talk with someone firsthand that speaks to President of the United States every day, and to hear that, you know. Sorry, I'm reading some of the stuff. Yeah. By the way, Darren, uh, I went and sat with Patrick and Mark Olson today. We went over to the Philly Tavern and had a couple of drinks. To be completely honest with every one of you guys, uh, we drank so much that when I went back over to the shop, I threw up. I was throwing up like an 18-year-old kid right outside my shop. I'm sure that the woman has it the woman has it on the camera. The crazy woman. Yeah. So where did I want to? I am going to look at my notes because I had this so I was going to segue today, and then I got derailed. And there was a couple things that were important to talk about. Oh, yeah. So, um, the guy that got shot in Southport, uh, North Carolina, me and Darren were sitting there talking yesterday in Darren's shop, and I speak a lot of times about teachers because most of my family and so many of my friends are teachers, and they have to wake up every day and walk into this place and wonder if they uh, are going to get shot. And I feel for them, but nothing's ever happened where I put my mind in the space that I put this weekend when this guy in Southport opened up fire. Those guys were at a old school dock bar. Yeah, so Darren, the reason I'm bringing this up is I came into the shop to talk to Darren about this, and right then a woman came in who's an old customer from Manassas that lives in Southport. Southport, it was insane. Uh, but this hit me because that bar is exactly the kind of place that I spend my time if I can spend my time. I talk about all the time the dock bars, and that's what that thing was. It was an old fishing bait shop turned into a dock bar. My favorite kind of place on the planet. Where you will find me when this is all over. How many times have I told you guys when the whole thing was Brett's over, you're going to find me playing Margaritaville in some dingy dock bar. And now that got shot up. Now I'm going to wonder if I'm going to get shot every time. That's what Brett will often say. This is one thing that cracks me up with me and Brett. He'll go, all this is people trying to scare you. Like, okay, well, it worked, Brett. It worked. I'm scared. I understand what it is, but that you say that and it belittles the fact all this is terrorists trying to scare us. Well, they did. It worked. It's frightening. I don't know what I'm going to do if someone gets shot in a candle shop. People got shot at a Jason Aldean concert, in Vegas, and that stuff's on my mind. But this guy getting shot, these three people getting shot at a dock bar, that part's ridiculous. Scares me. So, what a there was a segue I was going with this from the Charlie Kirk situation that was profound, and it was supposed to be moved into this. I was going to segue it into all the alien stuff and all the stuff that you know, uh, where was I going with it? You know, I will tell you this. I don't know if you guys saw my post about autism, and I went there because again, I I struggle every day to try to, uh, and I'm self-proclaimed. Like I don't know why I think that I'm the one to do this, but all I ever want to do is make people think. Whether most of the time it's political, I try to make everyone see both sides. Just to be honest with you, whether I agree or don't agree, I try to make everyone see both sides. I play the devil's advocate. I like to play the devil's advocate. That's the story. And there's often a thing that and I'm curious. Darren, is Kat there with you? Is she watching? Because she'll be entertained at this part, just like you will. I can't even remember what happened in the news about. Oh, it was that fucking uh, moron. What's his name? The Kennedy guy, Robert Kennedy. I don't care what side you are on. You won't. You'll never see me saying negative things about politicians. Uh, but that guy's a fucking moron. Shoot me, man. I don't. Meet me outside my apartment and shoot me in the brain if that's if you're gonna kill me because you're a fan of Robert Kennedy, man. Just come on, come on. Uh, um, but the autism thing struck me because I am a firm believer in um, what I said, that autism is a step in our evolution. And then a couple mothers of children with autism, several mothers of children with autism sang my praises, thanked me for reaching out, thanked me for feeling the way I felt about things, and speaking up. Uh, but um, there was two particular mothers with adult autism children that came at me pretty hard, and they said both of them had the same exact story. 2 points. You have no idea what it's like to live with their rage when they're angry, and they just pulled shit on the floor. One of them said they'll never be able to do the things that I take for granted, like drive a car. Uh, so keep that in mind. Don't lose me here because I'm going to lose you. Follow this track, everybody. Because so we're gonna stop there with do the things you take for granted, like drive a car, and the idea that they're not supposed to shit on the floor. To which one of them I said, I live in a world of rock and roll uh, with a lot of people without autism that have fits of rage and shit on the floor all the time. It's not just autism, everybody. Um, anyway, um, it struck a nerve with me that what they had said. And I think that I've told all of you guys that my entire life, I've um, my entire life, I've been driven to feel like I have a message to give to the world. There's something I'm supposed to say that everyone's supposed to hear, and I can't ever get out of my head. And one of the battles I fight more than anything is is grammar. Um, Not because I don't spell very well. I don't care that I don't spell very well. Um, but more times than not, I explain this thing about grammar, and in my head, it's much, much bigger than grammar. And there's this tick-tocking thing in my head. You didn't make your fucking point. You didn't make it. No one understood what you're trying to say. Nah, 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 nah. Like the battle inside my head. And the point I always talk about with grammar is that it's not divine. A human being just like me made up the rules. A human being just like you woke up one day and decided let's call this a comma and put it here. And we're talking about people, the evolution of people, a million years ago, 1,000 years ago, whatever years ago, 10 years ago. We're still more evolved now than we were 10 years ago. My point is that every single rule in grammar was made by someone quite possibly less intelligent and less involved than any of us sitting here right here. It's not divine. We made it up. Human beings made up grammar. And I often say, if you're really a grammar Nazi and you really believe in the rules, then you should still be writing in hieroglyphics because that's where it all really started. Same thing. If you're a purist, if you're a musical purist, then we shouldn't be playing electric instruments. You know, there's all, and then there's always funny with that. There's people that don't like keyboards. I don't like keyboards. I don't like electronic music, but I like electric guitar. Well, electric guitar is no different than a keyboard as opposed to an acoustic guitar. So where does any line start or stop? We made it up. Every fucking thing on this planet, humans made up. There's nothing divine about it. There's nothing special. If you're a religious person, you believe in the Ten Commandments, that's one thing. There's a certain code of morals that, everyone says people aren't animals. Well, at this point in the world, animals are more civilized than human beings. My fucking dog is a much more civilized being than whoever shot Charlie Kirk or whoever shot those people with that boat. My dog doesn't lose his mind in a fit of rage because he wants to get his way like I do. So I often fight this fight specifically about grammar. That everyone shut the fuck up if you spell something wrong, because grammar is to communicate. And if you communicate it, then you did your job. And if I write in hieroglyphics or if I smear pictures with my own shit on a wall, if you get my message, there you go. So moving forward, the message I try to relay about grammar is much bigger than grammar. It's that nothing is divine that humans create. And I never quite understood that till I was having this conversation with these two mothers of autistic women. And it's like I unlocked another level. I'm still not there yet with my point. I'm still not going to be able to change the world with what I'm talking about. But there's a new level to it now. This woman said that you'll never be able to drive a car or the things you take for granted. And I thought to myself, the Egyptians never drove a car. The cavemen never drove a car. And 200 or 300 years into the future, we probably will not drive cars either. It is something not to be taken for granted, but it is unimportant in the scope of things. It, much like grammar is a way of communication, car is just a way of transportation. And if you are nonverbal, and if you are on the spectrum, and if you are autistic, and if I'm right, and it's part of the step in evolution, you are probably part of what is going to become an enlightened human being, more than likely telepathic human being. I believe that that's where it's all going, is the next level of communication. So if you're telepathic and I don't have to hook this computer up and I don't have to text or cell phone, or I don't have to, if I just can speak to anyone around the world or around the universe telepathically, it changes a lot about how transportation will work. There'll be a lot less need for the car, and the car will be a burden. It won't be something we take for granted. It'll be something we're annoyed with. Oh, fuck, I can't get what I'm trying to do telepathically. I got to get in the fucking car and go. I mean, we're there that way with the way the world is anyway. We have the groceries delivered to us. We have, you can have beer delivered to you now. We take for granted DoorDash more than we do the car these days, I think. But my point is, what I see in what I see in the autistic people and the evolution is they don't care. So when you say fuck you to me, I take for granted driving a car, they'll never get to drive a car. I don't know any of them that want to drive a car. I do know some autistic people that have licenses. And I'm going to say this again. Elon Musk is going to get us off of this planet, and he's autistic, and he's going to build the rockets that move our entire species to another planet. So everyone's got this all wrong. What people think about is themselves, and that goes back to everything I say. The selfishness of humanity is the problem, and this mother really unlocked this to me. What she was saying is, my kid's never going to do the things I like to do. Well, the kid doesn't want to drive a car. And this sounds so funny, but there is no divine law that says you can't shit on the floor. So go ahead. I encourage everybody that wants to shit on the fucking floor. It's a ridiculous notion that people think so selfishly, and I battle this all the time, because the ego and the rock star in me, I mean, it's torture inside my head. I do what I do because I do like people to clap for me. I like the attention. Most people do. But it's a. I don't want to say it's a sin, but it's not what it's supposed to be, But for all the time that I want to say, look at me, there's an enormous amount of my time that is spent, thinking about other people. We go back to talking about Shining Soul, especially while Darren's there. Darren would talk to me all the time about, we got to get out of this. We're sinking. And he was right. I'm not saying he's not right. He was right. He's right. And all I could think about was, I got to keep paying these people that believe in me. I didn't care about myself in any way, shape, or form. Mostly was Lisa in Myrtle Beach, and Darren felt that way too. I'm not saying Darren didn't feel that way. So don't take what I'm saying as I care about people and Darren doesn't care about people. But I was and still am willing to lose everything of myself at a detriment to make sure that the people that do stay are taken care of. And in the end, that's wrong, because one day I'm just going to have to shut the store down on a whim, and it's going to catch everyone by surprise, and then no one's going to get paid, and then everyone's going to be mad at me anyway. I'm just prolonging one more person being upset with me. But my point to that is um, is my awareness of the selfishness of humanity and the looking inward when people think they're looking outward. Um, and this woman, will never drive a car, and all I can think is that kid doesn't want to drive a car. He's off to bigger and better things. And I'm not trying to upset the woman, and she may be watching tonight. I don't know. Um, and the anger, you know, there's been times people have called me bipolar before, and I often say I've been diagnosed. I've taken tests. Unfortunately I'm not bipolar. I wish I could be special. you know, I'm not. I'm not. But I often say those people that are able to get that angry. A lot of people live in a lukewarm glass of water, and people that are bipolar, they know what it's like to taste ice cold water, and they know what it's like to feel burning hot water. The spectrum of emotion is greater. Some people see in black and white, and some people see in Technicolor, and I think that emotion, when somebody is more emotional than another person, that's a gift. It's a gift to feel that intently. Some people are numb. Think about your body being numb, and you wish you could feel. What if what if you were one of those people that did. I get as happy as I get sad, and it's a gift, man. I can feel emotion on a different level than I think a lot of people have, um, and I think that the people with autism can do that too. And just I can't stop repeating it, but just you're allowed to shit on the floor. It sounds so fucking stupid. And what if that's my moment that I get to go down in history with you're allowed to shit on the floor? But that statement is so powerful to me because you're allowed to shit on the floor. God never said, if you believe in God, you're not allowed to shit on the floor. So there it is. I'm one step closer to saying what's on my mind that's been in here for 48 years, and I'm close to getting it. It's the same thing as the grammar. Draw squiggly lines. Do whatever you want. Cat, Cat, I have to tell you, I had this discussion with a couple people personally, and I thought about making a shirt. Go ahead, shit on the floor. I thought about that. you know, but the other thing I wanted to say, I was talking to Darren about this, and I actually said something to one of the mothers. Uh, that's not evolution. The whole thing, the step of evolution, isn't that way. They can't do this or they can't do that. And if you are an evolutionist, um, you subscribe to the theory that we all came from the ocean. So, to dumb it down, you believe that we were once a fish that walked out of the water, right? And I am 100% certain that the first fish that walked out of the water died because evolution is about mutation, and it's one little mutation at a time, over and over again over the course of 100 or 1,000 years. So as the evolution is happening, there's trial and error. It probably was a million fish that walked out of the water before the first one lived, and it was probably, all I know is that I'll be streaming from Shining Soul tomorrow, and it's a good thing they have candles. Oh, it was probably a million fish before the first one was able to reproduce the next generation of mutation that was able to survive, right? So it's an awful thing to say the way I'm trying to say it, but we see these, what seems to, it hurts my fucking heart to even say this word, but we see what seems to be defects in human beings with autism, defects in us who are living in the ocean, if that makes sense. We are the fish in the ocean, and we all go, oh, look at that dumb motherfucker trying to walk out of the ocean. Oh, he died. Uh, but over the course of the mutations, those with autism, even though they aren't, a lot of times when I say they're the next step in evolution, people think I'm saying that, for lack of a better term, is the final product, what we know today. No, it's the next step. And I believe it evolves into a telepathic being that may not even need to consume food in the way we do, but they certainly don't care or need the things we do. Every other animal on this fucking planet but us shits on the floor. Chimpanzees live in I explained this once to one of these people, and it's, again, humanity seems things this small, right? And I actually said this to one of these mothers. Chimpanzees survive, thrive. They have a society, they have a community, they have a hierarchy. They live, and they live in the woods, but those woods or those forests, it's what they know, and it is, might as well be New York City to them. It is their metropolis. They live 100% without any need for anything. We as humans, just back engineer this. We as humans go into that forest, and we can't survive with them. We are not equipped with the skills to live, and what they live is their daily life, and they're fine. So it's the same thing. The brain of an autistic child might be looking at us and our society like we look at the chimpanzees. Uncivilized, crazy. But to them, it's New York City. To them, it's Beijing. They're happy as fuck. They're living their lives. They're shitting on the fucking floor. They're swinging from tree to tree. They don't need a car. They don't want a car. They can get across town quicker swinging from the fucking trees, right? We as humans are so selfish that we just can't see beyond ourselves. And now, it's just what it is. The stream is stopped for some reason, I think. I don't know. Did it lock up? I feel like it locked up. But one day I'm going to get these words right. I'm glad you guys, I'm grateful that you guys are sitting here. I've gone 15 minutes over my normal time. I don't know. I'm excited that Darren's watching, though. Makes me happy. I never know who's watching or who doesn't watch. And I know the very first time I tuned in, Darren was watching, and it made me happy, especially today. Especially today, I know you're moved on to other things, Darren, but happy fucking 9 years to you too, man. I know it went wrong. But we built something crazy, man. You, it's funny. I did this interview. Oh, I get emotional about this. I did this interview for this Manassas paper. And in the interview, I wrote that we had turned the company into a multi-million-dollar company. And someone read it and wrote, I don't think that. I think that's exaggerating. And it's fucking true. The 1 year that we were at the height of it we did almost $3 million in that 1 year, and we were pumped. We had 8 people working full time. Well, we had at one point we had one, two, three, four. If you count me and Darren, one, two, three, four, five, six. We had 6 full-time people in the warehouse alone, plus 3 stores, each with at least 4 employees each. And then we had like 6 part-timers at the warehouse, and we were cranking stuff out. And I will, I will, I will say, and I will go on record saying that that business model was Darren's doing. Darren made that part happen. Uh, I've said, this is where I say that me and Darren discovered that we had 2 different philosophies in business, and it's happened slowly that we learned that. I think as we grew different opinions about things because um, we didn't know what business was like until we were in it. So we had to learn what decisions we had to make as we were going. And but at the end of the day, I actually think I wanted something smaller. I wanted my little shops, my little beach stores, and my little and Darren had a much bigger vision. Darren had a $1 billion vision, and we were on our way till COVID. We were on our way, and every single one of those giant wholesale stores and all that stuff that we were cranking that business out, that wholesale thing we were doing, he did every bit of that. I might have made the candles, and I might have found a few beach stores that liked our stuff, but he found that path. And and when we were a multi-million-dollar company, there will never be a moment in my life that I will deny that he is the one that took us on that path. And we were a multi-million-dollar company. It just didn't go in me or his pockets. And that's the one thing. That's the one thing we both will agree on till the end of the day. I think so yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny, Darren. I want to take over the world. I want the next Yankee Candle, and then I didn't. Uh, it's funny, and then I didn't. I turned around one day and I thought, God, this was supposed to just be a cute little shop downtown, and it was a lot. It was a lot. But like I said, man, more power to you for you know, more power to you and Chuck and the people that stayed. We may not be business partners, but better friends now than we were 3 years ago. But we have almost 50 years of friendship. So if there was a couple years that were a little bit rocky, it's a great track record. You know, but but how did that come? Oh, you know, my point to that was yes, we did make it $1 million company. Whatever person said that, like, why do they think we didn't? A multi-million-dollar company. Uh, you know, we did a lot of crazy stuff, and me and Darren did things we knew we shouldn't have done. And we went to these trade shows in that last year and spent money that we spent money we knew we didn't have. I remember me and Darren sitting at the trade show when it was all really about to fall apart, and we didn't even have the money to eat. And we're at this trade show floor selling candles to $1 billion corporations, and Darren's talking to people while I'm down on the corner trying to secure a loan to fulfill these orders and pay payroll. It was man, that was weird, but the experience that we both got from it and the information that we took away is it's priceless. It's priceless. I think I know a lot more now than I knew before. You know, and there's nothing I can say at this point. I need to just end this stream, because the only thing that any of you are thinking is that shit on the floor. That, maybe maybe that's my light in life, you know. So anyway, I'm gonna one more time hit the like button, please. Hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope through all these jokes, someone hears my message. Thanks, Tom. I love that you're in there listening. I hope someone gets the message. We have trapped ourselves in a prison by our own rules. Everything that we hate is because someone less evolved than us made a law or a rule. It's all fake. It's all stupid. It's human. There's nothing divine. And if you do believe in God, there's 10 rules. There's 10 commandments. If you don't believe in God, those 10 commandments are fucking common sense, courtesy, and love. They're love. If it's humanity as itself has an ego. It's just being self-aware of all of us at one time putting the gun down. It's all a gun. It's all a gun. And all of us putting it down. And it's all I think about all the fucking time. I'm on stage and I'm playing my guitar in front of 25,000 people. 9 times out of 10, I'm sitting there thinking, why can't I say the words to fix all of this? And there's got to be someone else. There's got to be millions more like me. You're right, Darren. There's got to be millions more like me that just have this on their tip of their tongue, can't get it out. I think about it all the time. There you go, Sean. How are you, buddy? Have you been there the whole time? And the greatest is love. That's right. And understanding and perspective. Perspective. Point of view. Brett always says, I'm looking at it from 1,000 feet in the air. It's how he explains perspective when no one understands what he's talking about, which is often the 1,000-foot view or something he says. I don't know. The picture's bigger. The picture's bigger than every one of us. Speed limits. Yeah, they're made to keep people safe, but who made that up? Who decided 25? As dumb as that sounds, that's my point. Who decided 25 miles an hour? 35 miles an hour, you know. Just think about that. We made it all up. So we can tear it all down. And maybe we can tear it all down without guns if we can all get on the same page. Maybe we can, you know. I don't know. On brighter news before I go, if you've been to my merch shop, I started making these puzzles of pictures I've taken. I've taken these pictures of landscapes. I'm not a selfie guy, as you guys know, but I always take pictures of where I'm at. And I put like 8 of them up as puzzles, because I always wondered, what am I going to do with these pictures? What am I going to do? I'm not a guy that hangs pictures on my wall in my house. And what can I do to share them with other people in a different way? And so I have a whole section now called puzzles, and the puzzles come in these little tins. And but they're pictures I actually take. And there's a couple other things uh, in there too. There's some of the sayings I've made and some of the different things. But for the most part, I'm going to turn it into pictures. There's a picture I took in Spokane at the last gig I did, acoustic gig I did down there. Just beautiful. A picture of it in Alaska. I took a picture at the Outer Banks, obviously. And I don't know. Just check it out if you don't got Pete's Merch Shop. And here, look, I can type it in the chat room real quick. Hold on a second. Oh, there's no apostrophe there. I don't know why I did that. Hold on a second. Yeah, Pete'sMerchShop.com. If you haven't been there yet, check it out and go to the puzzle section. I think it's cool. It's a different version of sharing myself with the puzzles. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. And Kat, if you're still there, Darren, Kat has just opened up what I'm going to call a merch shop with a much more valuable point and a valuable reason. There's a purpose for hers other than just me sharing what I think is cool stuff. But I don't, Darren, type the link. Just let people visit it that might not. Every single person counts. Maybe say something about it real quick before I hang up. I've been here an hour and a half almost. That's longer than I've ever done. If you want to share, Kat and Darren, she did all the work herself in creating these designs, and she's part of the educational system, and she believes in it and works really hard in it, and it's her passion, and she turned her passion into this shop. And anytime someone does that, I'm behind it. So, Darren, are you gonna type that, or everything takes a long time? The delay. Once we're all telepathic, we won't have this delay. Once we're all autistic, I mean. Yeah. If anyone goes back and watches all this, I could get shot. I said a lot of things today. But can you type the link, Darren? Come on. Where's that salesman and Darren? Everybody, happy Tuesday, man. Thank you for hanging out. And as soon as Darren types the link, and he give you a minute to see that, then I'm going to roll out. I'm going to go back to YouTube and check out whatever happened in the UFO community today. Lots of stuff going on, a whole episode of itself. There's tons of stuff going on. So, and the Eagles came back. For those of you guys that watch, I don't know if you saw, but the Eagles came back in California. So I don't know how that works. Are they getting ready to mate again or whatever it is? All right. I don't know. Maybe Darren's not going to hit the link. $18 likes, 20 viewers. We're almost there. Sean, you're going to have to go back and watch most of this if you just joined, because this is just the end. And I said a lot of stuff there. So, Jessica, Dave, thank you guys. Roxanne, Jeanette. All right. I'm assuming that Darren is not going to put the link in, because I know he knows how. All right. There is a delay in the video chat. So I don't want to shut this off until Darren puts his link in. By the way, while we're waiting to see, I love my Meta glasses. I don't know if you saw, but they just released a version with a screen in them. Like, that's totally Jarvis bullshit right there. I'm gonna fucking... Oh, you posted it. I don't see a post, Darren. Oh, it's in that positive and motivational sayings for kiddos. You got to click on that. I see. All right, everybody, if you see Darren's post up there, please click on it. Just check it out. for whatever it's worth, please just give it a click, a like, whatever it is. And hopefully, I'll see you next week. I want to get back to doing this. And this was an emotional one for me. I started it out with the whole fear of freedom of speech, which is, I didn't mean to go down that rail. So thank you guys for, we'll call this this is 21 episodes. We'll call this the sad episode. You know, like certain comedies or certain sitcoms have a episode title or something that they remember. Hey, that was the happy episode or the sad episode. We won't be sad episode ever again. Everybody have a great night. Thank you for always just